Okay, well this section here is about multiplying polynomials. So let's just get started with something simple. Say for example I had x times x and I wanted to simplify this down. Well, because they all have a power of 1, of course that doesn't really matter, we have three identical variables here, and we would just add their powers. So this becomes x to the third because there's three x's. But even if I were to have x squared times x to the third, that's supposed to be a 2 there, and we wanted to simplify this, this becomes x to the fifth power. Okay, there'd be 5 x's there. So here's another way of looking at this. X to the fifth times, let's say we had x squared. Right, this can be rewritten as x raised to the 5 plus 2. So as you can see here, we just add the exponents. And of course this is equal to x to the 7th power. But let's say I had, for example, x squared times x squared. Well, because there's two identical terms right here, we could write x squared, and that's all raised to the 4th power. I don't mean 4th power. Because there's two identical, right, then you would raise it to the 2nd power because there's 2 of them, and that's where that 2 comes from. Now in this particular case, what we do is we multiply the exponents. So this becomes x to the 2 times 2 is equal to x to the 4th. So let's look at that again. If I were to have x to the third times x to the third times x to the third, let's do it one more time, times x to the third, and I wanted to rewrite this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, so this is x to the third, and it's all raised to the 4th power. And of course, remember, you multiply exponents, so this becomes x to the 12th. Now if you were to look at the other way where you just add all these, right, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is also going to be x to the 12th. Okay, let's say that I had x times y, and it was all raised to the 2nd power. We can actually break this up and say this is x squared times y squared. So you see, because they both have the same exponent, we could actually group them together and then raise both of them to the 2nd power. So let's look at another one. If I said x times z, use something different, raised to the 8th power, this can be rewritten as x to the 8th times z to the 8th. Okay, let's say for example I had x squared, 3 times x squared times 4 times x to the third, and I wanted to simplify this down. Let's take this 3 and this 4, multiply them together, and then what are we going to do with the exponents? We're going to add them. So that becomes x to the 5th. So as you can see, we simplified that down. Alright, let's do another one. Let's say I had 5x squared times y times x to the third times y squared. So we want to look at the terms that are alike. Well, we have x squared, we have x to the cube, so we just add their exponents. That becomes x to the 5th. I'm going to carry this 5 over, and then that would become y to the third.